So hi, very good evening. Classes cannot start before 5 o'clock. I think that many of you are posting that class started. No, it will start after 5 o'clock. So, and now it's going to start. So the last day, what we have seen that advent of the colonial advent of the Europeans. So now from today, we'll be seeing the later Mughals, but there was one topic which was left, and as I said to you that two batches are going to combine, and in fact that in the due course of time one more batch is going to combine in this one. So many combined batches, and if it would have been an offline classes, so you guys would have been fighting for the seat that who would be there in the first row, second row, third row. That's what happens often. And that's what I have seen in previous years, that people fighting for the seats when the batches were combined. But luckily, this time, that n number of the batches can go together since it is online. So, and one more disclaimer which I want to give you before the class starts, since it's 5 to 8 class. So there is little bit of that regulations which are there right now in Delhi. So you one cannot operate till 8 o'clock. So somehow we will have to wind up by 7:30, 7:45. And until and unless Delhi government allows us to go beyond 8 o'clock, that is 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. But right now the regulation is 8 o'clock only. So we'll see that by 7:45 we can go till 7:45, and this week would be the schedule like this only. See that next week what kind of regulation is coming from the Delhi government. So this class is happening from the office location, not from the home location. So let's begin with the next topic, which was the French East India Company. Now the class has started, and the response screen is dead. So I hope many of you must have joined. And since I have learned that many people do join the classes after half hour, 1 hour, that must not be the norm. You must be joining the classes right from the beginning. You must be there on the screen from 5 o'clock. So let's begin with this, the last one, which we didn't mention, French East India Company. And then we'll start with the important topic, which is the later Mughals. Then, so French East India Company, introduction I just want to give you over here. Otherwise, rest of the things that in Carnatic area, we are going to talk about the British and French only. Their struggle with each other, their fights with each other. So now listen that it was the last European company to come to India. So it was the last European company to come to India in 1664. Then, so in 1664, moreover, when it comes to, since our focal point is the British East India Company and the French East India Company. So if you compare the two companies, that French East India Company and British East India Company, what you have seen in the English East India Company, that English East India Company was controlled by the private individuals, and it was a private entity, though they seek the permission of their own government, their own king or queen, for coming to this country, and they also seek the privileges, rights and immunities. At the same point of time, they were not a government-owned company. On the other hand, the French East India Company was a state-controlled company. So right from the beginning, French East India Company was a state-controlled company. This is what is the one major difference between the two companies. Then, so major difference between the two companies. Now, so you know that, and moreover, from 1723 onwards, this French East India Company, the state has more control. Before that, little bit of dilution was there, or little bit of loose control was there. But 1723 onwards, French East India Company was completely controlled by the French government. Now, as we have written in the other companies also, that which all places they opened their factories, or in the beginning, which all places they were located. So they also opened their factory or warehouse, better to say warehouse rather than factory. So trading post or warehouse in 1668 at Surat. Then second was in Masulipatam, and you know that one of the base of the French was the Pondicherry. Even you go to Pondicherry even at this point of time. Nowadays you call it Puducherry. So you go to this place even at this point of time. So you see that French architecture, French influence, French cuisine very popular in the Puducherry. So Puducherry was the one place, and then another was the Chandranagar, which was created in 1690. So 1690. Then after this, what we need to know that how the French and British rivalry started, which we would be covering in the Carnatic area. So just listen a little bit about that. So I said to you that from 1723 onwards, there was a complete control of the French East India Company by the French government. So they started to appoint their the Indian governors, and the French governor who was appointed to India around 1740s was the Dupleix. And after the arrival of the Dupleix, the environment was set, and environment was set for developing rivalry between the British and French. Both were the major imperialist power of the world. Both had aspiration to establish a colonial regime in India and to establish the colonial hegemony in India. So they were aspiring for that, they were striving for that, and in this aspiration, they fought with each other. Then both wanted to rule out each other. Then, so from the Indian case, French wanted to discount the British, and same was true for the British also, that they wanted to discount French from India. So this rivalry started, but who was the reason? What was the reason? In fact, it was not the British who started the fight or who provided the initial reason for the fight. It was Dupleix whose policies were the reason for the start of the fight. So after the arrival of the Dupleix, what he did, that he started to interfere in the internal politics of India. So he has started to interfere in the internal politics of India to take a due advantage. What happened when Britishers saw that? So they were not the first, but at the second place, they also started very well. And over the period, within 20-25 years only, it was very clear that though the British didn't started the process of the interference in the internal affairs of Indian princess, but they were the one who mastered this strategy, and using this strategy, they threw away the imperialist aspiration of the French from India, and no more French are going to be the imperialist power in India. They would be under the protectorate of the Britishers in India, if at all they have to live in India. So this is how British became successful, and now rest is their story to build, which they are starting from the 1757, and then onwards. By 1947, this country is under the complete control of the British. So that's what we will be seeing after this. So please mention few words about this French East India Company. So please write. Very much noise. Okay, let us check. थोड़ा सा noise ज़्यादा जा रहा है. चेक करो. नॉइस है, इधर से कंप्लेन है काफी सारी. We are checking that if too much of noise is there, so sound pollution, voice is not clear, voice is disturbing. Okay, too much distortion, voice is cutting. Okay, let's check. Wait for 1 minute. We will check. Don't worry. We will check. चेक करो. या तो ये एसी की आवाज है. हाँ, एक रिमोट दे दो. So you guys please check that अभी वॉइस कैसा है. Now you guys can send your soundscape. Please send that now. if it is clear or not. See that we cannot survive without, I'll not say survive, but it's little difficult in the heat of Delhi without the air conditioners. So I think they are the ones which are making noise. So I'll try to put one off. Remote. Lalit. अभी ठीक है बहुत नहीं 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 ये वाला अच्छा उससे जा रही है I hope now it would be fine. So please check that now it's fine. मेरे को रिमोट दे दो हाँ अब ठीक है आई थिंक चल जाएगा काम ठीक है So I'm continuing. You guys please start writing. अभी थोड़ी नॉइस कम हो जानी चाहिए आई थिंक मुझे भी लग रहा है कि अब नॉइस कम हो गया है सो नाउ यू गाइस कैन कंटिन्यू सो इट वाज द लास्ट यूरोपियन कंपनी प्लीज कीप राइटिंग इट वाज द लास्ट यूरोपियन कंपनी established in it was last European company established in 1664 hi Sumit I don't know that what's the usage of the kabutar ka dana over here. See that, please don't make the response screen looking so ugly by your irresponsible and informal talks. So keep it simple and keep it formal. The formal communication. Response screen is for that if I would be asking something to you, you guys would be replying on that. But indulging in the kabutar dana, that is not at all it is meant for. Then. So I hope you are understanding. And moreover, keep it formal. You are preparing for the civil services examination. It's not an examination which is going to be conducted in the Bangladesh or not Bangladesh, so with utter respect, in Pakistan or Sudan, then so and Somalia. It's India. Then so please behave according to that and write things in the response screen. Otherwise, the purpose of the response screen would be defeated. Please don't take it to the heart. And ले भी लोगे दिल पे तो मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ ठीक है So please keep writing. It was the last European company established in 1664. Then further you write. As compared to the British East India, no, please don't write as compared. First you write after full stop. It was a state-controlled company. It was a state-controlled company. I hope there would be more clear voice. So beyond this, I cannot do anything. And not clear? Okay, I understood. Okay. So I understood. And now we have switched off so many things. So many devices has been switched off. So now, again, I will have to repeat it again, the dictation part. So please check that if right now voice is clear or not. Vidisha, you can also comment upon that. So you can send me the message, class coordination team. You can send me, if the voice is clear to you, so you can send me on my phone. And if the problem still persists, so I can't do anything, we will have to ask to the voice is interrupted. मैं तो लगातार बोल रहा हूँ, but if it is interrupted, so please you guys, as what has Shivam has said, you guys please start again. So now it is clear. And again, there would be, once again, that I am saying this thing to you guys, that it's a disclaimer. I will not say that this is a kind of something else, but disclaimer that please avoid posting anything informal on the response screen. Otherwise, that one person would be doing that, 2% would be doing that, and then entire response screen would be blocked for your batch. So please behave accordingly. Then And response portal is meant for if the faculty asks something to you, you would be replying to that, not for the informal talk. Again, any group, any such thing you cannot make on it then. So please keep in mind and behave accordingly. So please start writing what you were writing. In between, the interruption was there. So it was the last European company. It was the last European company established in 1664. Established in 1664. Full stop. It was a state-controlled company. It was a state-controlled company. But on the other hand, English East India Company was, English East India Company was a private entity. Now I hope that it is clear. आज इतनी जल्दी क्लास स्टार्ट करके भी थोड़े टाइम बर्बाद हो गए. That near about how many minutes we have lost in this voice not clear, near about 15-16 minutes. So please write. Then after that you write after full stop. From 1723 onwards, French East India Company was completely controlled by French government. So was completely controlled by French government. Then further you write after that, French government. Full stop. And I can understand. I have no idea about that. What is this technical glitch or whatever? I'm not expert of that. You know that I'm expert. I can say safely that I have a little bit of expertise in the history, but not in the other thing. But yes, problem could be because of that so many people logging at the same point of time. It could be a problem that so many people. Okay, so they are saying that it's not a problem. But chalo, we will check that क्या problem है, कल तक correct हो जाए. So you write, their first factory was created at Surat. Their first factory was created at Surat in 1668. 1668. In 1668. Then second you write, second at Masulipatam. So first Surat, second Masulipatam. Next year means 1669, and then Pondicherry 1673, and finally Chandranagar 1690. 1690. So Chandranagar in 1690. So these all. Then further you write after that. Soon after, you can change paragraph. Soon after arrival of the French East India Company, soon after French East India Company, arrival of the French East India Company, the rivalry Masulipatam 1669. So 1669. ठीक है? Then the rivalry between the French and English company started to emerge. The rivalry between English and French company started to emerge. Now, so this French governor who was appointed, his name was Joseph Francois Dupleix. Then, so from here onwards, we'll be calling him Dupleix only. But first time I'm mentioning his full name. So Joseph Francois Dupleix. So when he was appointed in 1740, so that was the flashpoint of the time, and what he started, the policy that he started, was the reason for the forefront battle between the two companies, which we'll be calling as the Carnatic Wars. Then, and that would be a separate chapter after the later Mughals. First we will see the later Mughals, and then after we will be moving into these regional kingdoms, where we'll be talking about that, these wars which are going to happen between the French and the English. So meanwhile, you write that with the appointment of French governor, Joseph Francois Dupleix, in 1740, yes, class would be by 7:45, not 8, yes. So 7:45 this week, hopefully from next week if the regulation comes. So we would be continuing, we can go beyond 8 o'clock also from next week onwards. हाँ, बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं time लूँगा, but yes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes beyond 8 o'clock. Then you write what you have written: with the appointment of the French governor Joseph Francois Dupleix in 1740, British-French rivalry became flashpoint of the age. British-French rivalry became flashpoint of the age. Full stop. You can change paragraph if you want to. So please mention. French were the first who initiated the strategy of interfering in the internal affairs of Indian states to obtain political mileage. And this is how they solved the way so I hope you know, and this is what I meant to pronounce, but if it goes incorrect, the diction goes incorrect, so I have written it on the board so you can write. They solved the way to British. Then after you mention that while French failed in their strategy, it was British who mastered it. So we are leaving this topic here, since that this colonial advent introduction is over. Now we will be talking about that this fight which is going to happen between the French and British in the Carnatic, as I have said earlier also. Again, I'm emphasizing on that. So now we need to look at the Mughal India, that particularly the India after the death of the Aurangzeb, 1707. And I don't know that which all batches are, that I think that 2 more batches are combined. So I just want to tell you that before 1707, whatever that has happened, we will be covering in the ancient and medieval classes, and I'll be taking those classes. So there I would be talking about the Aurangzeb, we'll be talking about that, those all Mughal kings in the last of the medieval. And then after, we will also be in the midst of the discussion on the Aurangzeb, we'll also be mentioning about the Shivaji's regime. So that topic would be there in the medieval, but here, when we are going to talk about the later Mughals, so there would be some places where some information from the medieval is required. So wherever that information from the medieval is required, I would be trying to clarify it over here, that what does it mean, and then what is the meaning of that, what is the entire meaning of that particular word or particular instance, so that you may not feel that you need medieval and ancient first and then the modern. It's not a rule that you can start, that one must start with the ancient medieval. In fact, only in this topic, regional kingdom, there is a little bit of usage of the some information from the medieval, but otherwise it's altogether very different. Then, so let's begin with the topic, that is the later Mughals. So please mention later Mughals. (1707 to 1857). So this period. No, it's the beginning of the batch. How come any story would be skipped? Story to skip tab hoti hai jab when the people that you guys are 2022 batches. In fact, more stories can be incorporated in your batch. So तुम्हारा तो PT का date भी नहीं decided है अभी तो. So now 1707 to 1857. Now listen. So why we call them later Mughals? First of all, we call these emperors who are going to come to the power as later Mughal because they were not as mighty as their predecessors, not as powerful as their predecessors like Aurangzeb, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Akbar. So they were not like them. And moreover, the area which was directly controlled by the Mughal emperor Aurangzeb before his death, it was quite extensive. So they didn't had the direct control on the major part of this Indian subcontinent. But yes, one thing for sure can be said, that these later Mughals, they were considered as the nominal rulers of India, and their legitimacy was still still accepted. So their authority was still accepted at many places, not in that level, but at least in some level. So though their power is waning, but it's not like that. Their respect will wane after some point of time. Then, so later Mughal we need to see here, and then also one more topic in this one would be related to them only, the decline of the Mughals from India, including that these all later Mughals, and then overall by 1857, that Mughals will be non-existent as a ruler in India. So we need to see that what were the reasons that why this decline happened. And there was this glorious Mughal rule in India, whereby at the time of the Akbar, I must have mentioned in some other batches, I don't know, in your batch I have mentioned or not, since abhi to dusri class hai to kahan se mention kiya hoga. So at the time of the Akbar, that India's GDP, that when Akbar assumed power, so India's GDP was somewhere down the line, not out of 5, but down the line. But after the arrival of the Akbar, it became the second largest GDP in the world. And by the time of the death of the Akbar, India became the first largest GDP in the world, second being the China. And this tradition continued till Aurangzeb. Though Aurangzeb did many faults, but even with those faults, India was still the largest GDP in the world. It's only because of the policies of the Aurangzeb that it all started to decline and it all started to wane. So that is something which is unfortunate. And when this later Mughal emperor came, so the process was complete. The process of decline was complete as far as India to be reckoned as the strongest GDPs in the world. And with the arrival of the British, India became a very poor country. So now let's talk about them. So Aurangzeb died in 1707. His life, again I'm saying, we'll discuss in medieval. So after the death of the Aurangzeb, a war of succession started among his sons. Then, so war of succession started among his sons. And in this war of succession, there was one of his son, his name was Muazzam. Then, so Prince Muazzam, he killed two of his brothers who were the rivals and then who were also the ones who wanted to become the emperor. So the two brothers Azam and Kambaks. Then, so Azam Khan and Kambaks, they were killed by Prince Muazzam, and that's how Prince Muazzam, with the title of the Bahadur Shah, he ascended to the throne of the Mughals. Then, so in 1707, Bahadur Shah first became the Mughal emperor. And when he became emperor, so he was already 65 years old. Then, so he was already 65 years old. In fact, this war of succession was very much probable. You see that Aurangzeb started his rule in 1658. So 1658-59, Aurangzeb started his rule and he was there till 1707. So 42 years and here 7 years. So near about 50 years, you can say that near about 50 years, Aurangzeb was the ruler of India. And he must have turned old. But even he was turning old, he was not passing the emperorship to his sons. And moreover, not only this was the case, but also at the same point of time, that he was the reason that his sons would be motivated from him to fight with each other, because he did the same thing. That Aurangzeb, he fought with his own brother Dara Shikoh, killed him brutally. And also, it's not a one story, but there are many other things related to this one. That he was not just fighting with the contender Dara Shikoh, but he was also fighting with some other brothers also. So it was the Aurangzeb who set the precedent that what his sons will follow. So when he died, his sons did the same thing. They started to fight with each other. One of them killed two brothers and then he became the emperor. So Bahadur Shah first was the emperor at this point of time in 1707. So please write one introduction and then I'll talk about the Bahadur Shah and what all initiatives were there at the time of the Bahadur Shah. So please mention that after the death of Aurangzeb, war of succession started among his sons. After the death of Aurangzeb, war of succession started among his sons. Then you write Prince Muazzam defeated and killed his brothers Azam Khan and Kambaksh. Then further mention, and ascended to the throne with the title of Bahadur Shah. Then, so with the title of Bahadur Shah. So Bahadur Shah first, you can say, because the last one is also a Bahadur Shah, 1707 to 1712. So that is his regime. So we are going to talk about these all people and then what they did. So I got to know that RB10 is also there in this batch, and RB4 I think that RB4 is also there. So there is, these two batches are also there. I reckon this thing that you guys are also there. So no worries, it's going to be completed within that. Even if you guys are going to appear for the exam this year, आराम से complete हो जाएगा. So please don't worry. And then nothing, there is nothing that I would be skipping in any of the classes. Moreover, this is not me if I would skip any of the things. I can take a little bit of extra time, but I will not skip, and I have not skipped any point of time. So let's talk about Bahadur Shah. He was already 65-year-old, and he was a learned personality. Then, now listen that what were his initiatives. First you listen about this. So what were his initiatives? He came to power and he knew it very well that what his father Aurangzeb has done has something led to the decline of the Mughals, or has something which has led to the waning power of the Mughals. And moreover, there was not a kind of a communal harmony which he expected at that point of time. So many such policies of the Aurangzeb were quite divisive, religiously divisive. So what he did that as a policy perspective, Bahadur Shah, he reversed many narrow-minded policies of the Aurangzeb. So he reversed many narrow-minded policies of the Aurangzeb. For example, that Aurangzeb, he was on a mission to destroy all the major temples of India. He destroyed Somnath temple. He destroyed Kasi Vishwanath temple. He destroyed Govind Dev temple of Mathura Vrindavan. Then he also tried to destroy the Kailasnath temple of the Ellora. So he was on this mission to destroy the major temples of India. Then now what happened that Bahadur Shah coming to power, he stopped this practice of destructing any Hindu temple. Then so any Hindu temple or even any Jain temple also. Aurangzeb even destroyed some of the Jain temples also. So this is the one such thing. Moreover, Bahadur Shah, looking at the situation that how much power he had, how much of legitimacy of his was accepted all across in India. So he weighed his options, and then what he did, he released the Maratha Prince Sahu. So he released Maratha Prince Sahu, and Sahu actually, that if you want to know a little bit about the Sahu, so that's why I'm saying that ki medieval ka kuch kuch aayega yahan pe. So Sahu, first Shivaji, you know, then, and Shivaji had two sons. One was the Raja Ram and one was the Sambhaji. Then, so Raja Ram and Sambhaji, after the death of the Shivaji, Sambhaji, लिखना नहीं है कुछ भी, ये medieval में लिखोगे. And then whenever the Maratha episode would be there, again I'll be telling this part. So for the time being, you just understand. सुन लो बस. So Sambhaji was the son of the eldest son of the Shivaji, and after the death of the Shivaji, he became the Maratha king. And then after, when Sambhaji was actually treacherously, he was killed by the Aurangzeb. And Aurangzeb also, what he did, that he treacherously killed Sambhaji, he captured his son, Sahu. So Sahu is the grandson of the Shivaji. That you need to know. And meanwhile, these people, when they are in the jail, or you can say that they are in the captivity of the Aurangzeb, so Aurangzeb killed Sambhaji, captured the wife of Sambhaji, captured the son of the Sambhaji, that is Sahu, and in this situation, the second son of the Shivaji, that is Raja Ram, he was the emperor over there in the Maratha area. So after some point of time, Raja Ram also died. So Raja Ram also died and his wife was ruling. At this point of time, try to understand, at this point of time, when the wife of the Raja Ram was ruling in the Maratha area, Bahadur Shah released Sahu. He was not releasing Sahu out of the generosity. It was a policy decision because Marathas were the biggest threat to the Mughal emperor at this point of time. They were very powerful. So he released Sahu with the intention that once he would be going back to the Maratha area, so the lady who is ruling over there, Tarabai, they would be infighting. Sahu and Tarabai would be infighting for the rule. That Sahu will again be posing for he will be posing his claim and Tarabai would refuse. So then there would be a fight, and in this fight they will get weakened. So that was in the mind of the Bahadur Shah that he released Sahu from the Mughal captivity in Mughal captivity in 1707. Moreover, if it would have been a generous step, then, so if it would have been a generosity, a step of the generosity, or out of the sympathy, or maybe that he is a better person than, he wanted to show the better person than Aurangzeb, so he must have released the mother of the Sahu also. That is the wife of the Sambhaji. But he did not release wife of Sambhaji, a wife of Sambhaji, that is the mother of the Sahu, but he only released from the jail Sahu. Okay, so I hope you are understanding. So these all are the policy decisions. Then, so he took this policy decision, and he also tried, at the same point of time, he also tried to make peace with the local Rajput rulers, Jats and Bundelas. Then, another threat to the Bahadur Shah, that is the later Mughals at this point of time, were the Sikh leaders. Then, so Sikh gurus, you will be reading in the medieval history that the mistreatment to the Sikh guru started from the time of the Jahangir only. Though Jahangir was not that extreme person, but he also had his own share of the brutalities. And he was the one who actually, I think 4 or 5 days back, 3-4 days back, there was this anniversary of Guru Arjan Dev. You know that Guru Arjan Dev was executed by Jahangir. So right from that time, that Sikh leaders of the Punjab, they were fomenting the hatred, and then they were always trying to take the revenge from the Mughal emperors. So at this point of time, he felt that Bahadur Shah felt that it is not good to fight with the Sikh at this point of time. Why not have a kind of a conciliation with them? So what he did, that the last Sikh Guru was there at this point of time, Guru Gobind Singh, and he offered a Mansab status to the Guru Gobind Singh. But soon after, when he offered, Guru Gobind Singh had a natural death. He died, and Sikh refused to conciliate with the Bahadur Shah, and they continued their struggle against the Mughal emperors. Then, so please write few words about Bahadur Shah. So, initiatives. So please mention. He was already a 65-year-old learned personality. He was already a 65-year-old learned personality. See, I don't know that so many batches are mixed, so I cannot say this about. If the ancient and medieval is complete in your batches, so there must have been the Sikh, that Chhatrapati Shivaji. Without talking about him, how come I can talk about the Aurangzeb? Then, so, I don't know, in your batch, was it complete? Is this topic is complete? See that some batches are mixed. So, please tell that who all are there, Soumya and Srishti, that in your batches, ancient and medieval is complete, or still some classes are remaining. Now, please write few words. So, very first initiative you write, he reversed the narrow-minded policies of Aurangzeb. He reversed the narrow-minded policies of Aurangzeb. See, question is not to the new batch of 2022. RB2, you guys don't need to reply. The people from the old batches, that is 2021, RB4 and RB10, so they can reply. Then, so keep quiet, RB2. The question was not asked to you. इसीलिए मुझे भी confusion हो जाता है. I don't like this thing to be so many batches and then other year batch and this year batch to be mixed together. So this is what the problem. Chalo. So I am continuing with that. Please write. He reversed the narrow-minded policies of Aurangzeb and adopted tolerant attitude towards Hindus. Tolerant attitude towards Hindus. See, listen, that Maratha is a topic that would be only Shivaji topic is discussed. Shivaji was discussed over there. But in fact, when you are going to talk about that, when we are going to talk about the regional kingdom of the Marathas, so there we are going to discuss these all things. Then, so don't get confused. And I know that without mention of the Shivaji at the time of the Aurangzeb, if I have not taken the class, so then that's a different thing. But if I have taken the class, so then it means that I must have talked about the Shivaji. Okay? And rest of the things are the topic to be explored in the modern Indian classes. So please keep quiet, keep on writing. So mention that tolerant attitude towards Hindu. For example, no Hindu temple was destructed during his tenure. And if it comes to the topic of the Sikh, so that is not a thing of the medieval. वहाँ पे डिस्कस नहीं होता है, ठीक है? यहीं पे पढ़ोगे, मॉडर्न में पढ़ोगे, इसीलिए वो डिस्कस नहीं हुआ है. So when you are going to read about the Punjab, you are going to read about the Sikh. That is there. And that another thing, that Sikhism as a religion, that we don't teach in the classes. And that is one topic which we leave because UPSC don't ask any question from the religion part of the Sikhism, Islam and Christianity. So if art and culture in your batch is done, so you have read about the Zoroastrianism and then you have read about Buddhism and Jainism, that's it. Then so only that much is required. Further you write, second initiative, he released Maratha Prince Sahu. Who was held captive since 1689. 1689. Then after you mention, he tried to make peace with Rajputs. He tried to make peace with Rajputs, Jats and Bundelas. Rajputs, Jats and Bundelas. Then he also tried to conciliate with the Sikh and offered a very high mansab status. To Guru Gobind Singh. Very high mansab status to Guru Gobind Singh. But soon after the death of Guru Gobind Singh, unfortunately Guru Gobind Singh died in the same year. Soon after this offer, which was made by the Bahadur Shah, so he died. So you write, soon after the death of Guru, Sikhs refused to conciliate with Mughals, and they revolted under the leadership of Banda Bahadur. Under the leadership of Banda Bahadur. It's an official status. For the time being, you understand that Mansab is an official rank. Then बस इतना ही समझो अभी के लिए. Mansabdari is a thing that I would be covering and that I would be talking uh, in next class. I hope so. Next class when I'll be talking about that, this particular decline of the Mughals. So there we will be mentioning about that. Then, so now listen. So this is what was happening at this point of time, what happened at this point of time in the 5-year rule of the Bahadur Shah. So there was one more such aspect of the Bahadur Shah that you have seen, that whatever decisions he has taken, it's not all because of the generosity, but it was a policy decision so that unnecessarily other people must not fight with them. And he was of the view, and he knew it very well, that Mughals' power has weakened, and in this situation, if Rajputs attack, if Marathas attack, if Jats attack, if Bundelas attack, Sikh attack, so then it will further get weakened. So that was a policy decision. Moreover, this person, Bahadur Shah, he was also kind of very fearful. Then most of the time he was very fearful of the circumstances, not only with the regional powers, but also the nobles within his own kingdom itself. Then, so what he was doing, that whenever any noble was acquiring some kind of nuisance power and he was demanding some jagir, so without thinking, without opposing, he was giving the jagir to the nobles. Then, so he was known for giving so many jagirs to so many people. What is this jagir? Jagir, again we will be talking about this jagir, but from at this place you understand jagir means a piece of land. Then, so a piece of land. So he gave jagir to so many people at this point of time, and because of this trait of the Bahadur Shah, that he was giving jagir anybody who was asking, anybody who was kind of that he felt that is a threat to him, so he gave him a jagir so that he will be sitting idle and he will be sitting with the peace. So because of this trait of the Bahadur Shah, he came to be known as the Sahib-e-Khabar, then meaning that headless king. Then किसी ने भी थोड़ा सा बोला कि आपको तो जागीर देनी चाहिए, so दे दिया. Then, so this is how he was behaving. So he was often called as Sahib-e-Khabar. And why so? Because he was giving सबको बांट रहे थे जागीर. That's why he was called as the headless king or Sahib-e-Khabar. Please write. He was often termed as Sahib-e-Khabar. Sahib-e-Khabar, and in brackets you can write headless king. Sahib-e-Khabar, headless king. Because he was lavishly granted jagir to the people. Lavishly granted jagir and promotions to the people. Jagir and promotions to the people. Now, so 1712 he died. His age must be 72. So he died, and after his death, what happened? That was something unique in the history of the Mughal India. And that was, if there was so many blots at the time of the Aurangzeb, so this was one further extension of that. Then, so now listen that what happened after this. He died and his sons started to fight over his dead body. So his sons started to fight over his dead body. This is not something new. It happens even at this point of time that there are families in the country that somebody dies of authority in the family and then the sons start to fight. But what they did after this was something unique and also very disgusting. So they started to fight with each other, and they were in such an indecent haste of grabbing the power that for near about 2 months they did not bury their dead father. Then, so they did not bury their dead father, and the body was lying there. And you know what is the situation? I don't want to talk about that. Though the system was there to preserve the body, I don't think that they must have preserved the body also. That they were in such haste of grabbing the power that they did so. And this has not happened even at the time of the Aurangzeb, when Aurangzeb had a kind of वो बोलते हैं ना कि 36 का आंकड़ा, हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना 36 का आंकड़ा था अपने ही भाई से. So Dara Shikoh was arch rival of the Aurangzeb, and Aurangzeb killed him. Then Aurangzeb killed him, but even after the killing, his brother, who was his arch rival, he gave him a kind of a decent burial. Then he gave him decent burial, and even a small monument was also created at that place. So that's not the case over here. And you know who is the reason behind that? Aurangzeb himself. If he has set the note, so the other people will further increase the volume of that note. So that's what happened. So you write that after his death, his sons were in such indecent haste of grabbing power sorry, this spelling is wrong. This is indecent haste of grabbing power. That they left Bahadur Shah's body unburied. For more than a month. Then, so this is what happened at this point of time. Now, after that Bahadur Shah, the next emperor that we will be discussing would be the Jahandar Shah, who came to power in 1712 and was there for just 1 year, 1712 to 1713. But some initiatives which were there at this point of time, that is something that we need to know. So next emperor. So you have written number one, Bahadur Shah in the later Mughal period. Now let's look at that period of the Jahandar Shah. What initiatives were taken at his point of time? So please mention. Next, second one. So he must be one of the son of the Bahadur Shah who was fighting for the power. So listen, that in the Mughal court at this point of time, and this is one more topic which I would be again further elaborating at the time of the decline of the Mughals after the completion of this topic, in fact in tomorrow's class, but abhi ke liye sun lo. So in the Mughal court, that when these people are the emperors, other powerful people were the nobles then, and these nobles were holding so much of power with them. And these nobles, they were not from just one area, but they were of the, their descent was from many places. For example, some of the nobles were Turkish, some of the nobles were Persian, some of them were Iranian, Persian is Iranian, some of them were Afghanis, and many of them were Hindustani, meaning that Indian origin. So there were many origin nobles in the Mughal court, and these nobles, that their heads of these groups, they were having so much of power with them. And from here onwards, that after the death of the Bahadur Shah, they were the one who were deciding that who would be the emperor. So this point of time, this Jahandar Shah, who is coming to power, he came to power because of the support of the most able and most powerful noble of that time. His name was Zulfikar Khan. Then, so whenever this name comes to the picture, it makes us emotional. That was the name of our faculty. So he came to power due to the support of this very powerful noble of that time, Zulfikar Khan. And Zulfikar was an Iranian person. So Jahandar Shah, though he was not a very able person, he was in fact he was a degenerate person. And moreover, what is said about the Jahandar Shah, that he was fully indulged in the pleasure. All the time he was fully indulged in the pleasure, aur koi kaam nahi tha. Then, so fully indulged in the pleasure. So that's why, that's maybe the reason that Zulfikar must have chosen the Jahandar, ki isko administration से कोई मतलब नहीं है. He has nothing to do with the administration. So make him the king and entire administration would be in my hand. So with this intention he was appointed and the entire administration was in the hand of the Zulfikar Khan. So you can say that he is just a puppet king or he is just a symbolic king, kind of symbol figure, but otherwise all the initiatives are taken by the Zulfikar Khan. So we will be talking about the initiatives, but first you write he came to power due to the support of most powerful noble of that time, Zulfikar Khan. Powerful noble of that time, Zulfikar Khan. Full stop. Then you write Jahandar Shah was a degenerate person. Jahandar Shah was a degenerate person, fully indulged in pleasure. Fully indulged in pleasure. As such, after full stop, as such, administration was completely in the hands of Zulfikar Khan. In the hands of Zulfikar Khan. Then so now initiatives. You can mention about the initiatives. So initiatives. Now listen. Indulged in pleasure. Okay? So listen. He abolished jizya tax. And people from RB410, you guys know that what is jizya. But for RB2, what is this? So he abolished jizya tax. Now listen, what is this jizya tax? Since one set of the class knows about the jizya tax, other set of the class doesn't knows. So I would have asked it as a question, but अब मेरे पास ये option ही नहीं बचा कि मैं तुमसे सवाल पूछूं. So jizya tax, in fact, when it comes to the time of the Bahadur Shah, if he would have been a generous and really, if he would have been a little bit accommodative towards Hindus and other communities in India, so he would have abolished the jizya at that point of time only. But he did not abolish jizya. He only stopped those policies जिससे उसको खतरा नहीं हो. So at this point of time, Jahandar Shah, when he was the ruler, so Zulfikar stopped this tax, collection of this tax, jizya. What is the jizya? So jizya is a tax on non-Muslims. Then, so it is a tax on the non-Muslims, and moreover, that tax on the non-Muslims, what is the purpose of this tax? So purpose of this tax was that to provide protection, safety, security to the non-Muslims, that is Hindus, Buddhists, Jainas, except Muslims, everybody else who is there, they will be paying this tax. So people often get confused jizya as a pilgrimage tax. No, it is not. A pilgrimage is a separate tax. Then often people say that it is a religious tax. So it is nature of the tax is religious, that it is not applied on the Muslim population, but it is applied on all the other communities. Then, so the nature is religious, but purpose is the purpose of the tax that once you pay this tax, so it's a kind of a protection tax, poll tax, or safety security tax. Then, so that was charged by the Mughal emperors. In fact, you will be reading in the medieval that at the time of the Akbar, this tax was abolished. But Aurangzeb again applied it, and after the Aurangzeb, it was continuing, and then after, only at the time of the Jahandar Shah, it was abolished. So please mention very first one. He abolished jizya tax. Very first initiative, he abolished jizya tax, and you can write in the brackets what is jizya tax. So it was applied on non-Muslim population for providing them protection. Done? So this is about the very first initiative, jizya tax. Now the second one, and this one I need to elaborate. So first you write and then I'll be elaborating. So you write, to improve the revenue generation, the revenue generation, he initiated Izara system. To improve the revenue generation, he initiated Izara system. To improve the revenue generation, he introduced Izara system. So now you can write Izara system as a separate heading. We need to know that what is this Izara system. Then, so under this system, now listen, that under this system in a particular area, the tax collection authority is given by the bidding process. Then, so the tax collection authority is kind of given by the bidding process. So I hope you all are aware about the bidding process. Let me give you some generic example. That suppose that there is a one area, then, and I'm not naming that area. Suppose that area is X. Then, so area is X, and there are about 1,000 acre of land is there. 10,000 I have written. So 10,000 acre of land is there. Now, from here revenue has to be generated, this land. So X land, then X area, and in this area this much land is there. So now the tax collection authority of this area X is given by the bidding process. Then, so I hope you know that how the bidding happens. बहुत लोग बैठे होंगे, there would be so many people, and then the people would be quoting that suppose that this land is to be given for the financial year 2021 and 22. So 2021 and 22. So these 1 year, so for 1 year, so there is a one person who is A. So A is quoting that he would be giving how much? 15 lakh rupees if you give the tax collection authority to me. B is quoting that I will give 16. C is quoting I will give 17. And then finally there was some person, okay, who was F, and he quoted, if this area that the tax collection authority is given to me, so I would be giving you 20 lakh. Then, so if he is the highest bidder, F is the highest bidder, so then tax collection authority is given to him. And so tax collection authority is given to him. So this is what is the Izara system. Now there must be many questions in your mind. Let me tell you further. So see that this land 1,000 acres, suppose that F has won the bid, and this person has won the bid. So meaning that no matter whatever F is going to collect from this 100-acre land, he will have to give 20 lakh to the Delhi Sultan. Then, so meaning that Jahandar Shah or Zulfikar Khan. So no matter how much he is collecting, he will have to give 20 lakh. Suppose that year drought is there, okay, fasal nahi hui, drought is there or flood is there, and he was able to collect 18 lakh only. So then he will have to add 2 lakh from his own end, and then he will have to give it to the Zulfikar Khan or Delhi Sultan. Then what if, so everybody would like to make maximum profit from this one. So how he can make maximum profit? That if everything is normal, so he is going to collect anything beyond 20 lakh. And moreover, since it is a kind of a process where everybody is thinking from the perspective of the profit, so he can collect 30, he can collect 40 lakh rupees. So if he has collected from this land, he has collected 40 lakh rupees. So 20 lakh would be his saving and 20 lakh he would be giving to the Delhi Sultan. So for Delhi Sultan, it is fixed that highest bid is the 20 lakh that he will have to give. Uske upar jo collect kar lo, wo tumhara. So in this process, can you see that who is going to get exploited? The peasants are going to get exploited. The farmers are going to get exploited. Because this person who has won the highest bid, he will try to make maximum profit. He will coerce people. He will coerce people and he would try to extract as much as possible from the people. So ultimately, the peasantry of India is going to be heavily exploited by this system. So you see that completely opposite at one point of time, one place, they have just removed jizya, which seems to be good. And on the other point of time, on the other in the other initiative, they are trying to further exploit the peasantry of India, the common people of India. So this is, I cannot say this is a nil effect, but this is in the guise of this is a further exploitation. So please mention. I hope you must have understood this ISARA system. नहीं समझ में आया हो तो एक बार response screen में you guys can again post and then again I will try to make you understand. But I have given you very generic example. अब इसको मैं repeat ही कर सकता हूँ. So please mention that under this system, tax collection authority, under this system, tax collection authority was given by bidding process. Tax collection authority was given by bidding process. Full stop. The highest bidder was given the contract. The highest bidder was given the contract. And he was known as Ijaredar. He was known as Izaredar. Full stop. I hope it is visible to you. Then further you mention, he was free to extract. Whatever he could. He was free to extract whatever he could from the peasant. Leading to increased oppression of the peasantry. He was free to extract whatever he could from the peasants, leading to increased oppression of the peasantry. Leading to increased oppression of the peasantry. Done? So this is what is the ISARA system. Since Namrata has asked to explain it once more, I will explain it once again. But I just want to know that who else want it to be explained once again. And so you guys can send your names in this response screen. So let me name it, further simplify it. Now I am writing Karol Bagh, where our institute is located then. So for the financial year, this financial year 2022, consider Karo, Karol Bagh ka tax collection authority. The tax collection authority of Karol Bagh was to be given to somebody. So what is happening over here? That here bidding is going to happen for giving the contract of tax collection in the Karol Bagh area. Bidding is happening, and I hope you know that what is the bidding process. Then बहुत बार क्या होता है कि हम इसलिए नहीं समझ पाते हैं कि there are some words which we don't know, but it's a very that common word in English, and then I hope you know. So bidding is happening, and bidding is happening. So in Karol Bagh, somebody said that ki, give me the contract, I will be giving you 15 lakh for this financial year. Then somebody said that someone else said that I will be giving in 17 lakh for this financial year. And finally, there was a highest bidder who said that I would be giving 20 lakh. Then, and after that, nobody said that they would be giving beyond 20 lakh. So the highest bidder was chosen, that person, anybody. Here I have written F. So he was chosen, he was given the contract, and now he is known as the Izaredar. Now this person is collecting the revenue from this Karol Bagh area. Then, so he has quoted 20 lakh, he would be giving to the Delhi Sultan. So he would be giving Delhi Sultan no matter whatever he is going to collect, decreased amount or increased amount. So he would try to, he will try to take the taxes from the Karol Bagh area, which goes beyond the 20 lakh. So if he is collecting 30 lakh, 35 lakh, so obviously there is a profit of that person. Then, so out of 30 lakh or 40 lakh, whatever he has collected from the Karol Bagh area, 20 lakh he would be giving to the Delhi Sultan, and rest of the thing which he has collected beyond 20 lakh is his profit. So anybody will try to maximize his profit. So he would try to collect more taxes from this area. So he would be pressurizing on the peasants of this area, Karol Bagh, and then he will be taking most, suppose that ki pehle ho sakta hai, in another system, these people in the Karol Bagh area were paying 50% tax, 50% tax, but he want to maximize his profit, so he may be taxing them 80%. See, don't write this, I'm trying to explain it. So 80% tax he is taking, or 75% tax he is taking. So obviously it is leading to the increased operation of the peasantry. I hope it cannot be that now you must have understood that it cannot be explained further simplified beyond this point. ठीक है? So अब तो समझ में आ जाना चाहिए ना कि कैसे है. तो समझ में आ गया हो, if you guys have understood, so then please write yes in the response screen. So now let's move to the next initiative. So I hope it was fine. Then third initiative. Let me take another color. So the third initiative, sure. So third one is in relation with, thank you, that you guys have understood. Chalo, good. So third was in relation with the Marathas. Then, so Marathas are gaining power at this point of time. And so many yes are there, as if I am watching that America's Got Talent. So you have got your first yes, you have got your second yes, and you have got all your 4 yeses. But here are 240 yeses. Then, so let's get back to this. So this initiative is in relation with the Marathas. Then, and you know that Marathas were gaining power at this point of time. We'll be reading about the Marathas. Don't be concerned. जो भी उसमें medieval में नहीं पढ़ा है, RB4, RB2, and then RB10. That part is to be covered here. Then, but yes, I know that Shivaji के बिना तो औरंगजेब की पढ़ाई हो ही नहीं सकती है. Then, so that is completed over there. But again, we'll be talking about them. So, looking at the increased power and increased threat from the Marathas, they needed some kind of that. They needed to do some kind of conciliation with the Marathas, and as such, Zulfikar Khan offered few things to the Marathas. So what he did, that he granted the right of Chauth and Sardes Mukhi of Deccan to the Marathas. So these are again 2 more new terms: right of Chauth and Sardes Mukhi. Right of Chauth and Sardes Mukhi of Deccan to Marathas. So he granted right of Chauth and Sardes Mukhi of Deccan to the Marathas. Now you will have to understand that what is this Chauth and what is this Sardes Mukhi. So listen, that Chauth is what? See, it's about Deccan. First you need to understand Deccan area. So already Maratha area, which is under the direct control, that is different. But other areas of closer to the Maratha area in the Deccan Plateau, so that area has been given, that area has been granted that Marathas has been granted this right of Chauth and collection of the Sardes Mukhi. So what is this Chauth? That Chauth is, Chauth, this very first word which I have written, it is 1/4 of the revenue assessment. One by fourth of the revenue assessment. Then, so it is 1/4 of the revenue assessment, and Sardes Mukhi, this one, we will be writing, pehle dekh lo, 10% additional levy, so it is 10% additional levy on revenue. Then, so 10% additional levy on revenue, and it is claimed by Shiva from the time of the Shivaji only. Then, so please write, I will further explain. He granted the right of Chauth and Sardes Mukhi. He granted the right of Chauth and Sardes Mukhi of Deccan to the Marathas. Of Deccan to the Marathas. Now, separately you write Chauth. Separately, as a kind of a subheading, you write Chauth, and you write what is Chauth. So, it was 1/4 of the revenue assessment. Now listen, I'm saying that 1/4 of the revenue assessment. So, what is that? Now, suppose that Deccan area is there and 1/4 of the revenue assessment. So, entire revenue of the Deccan area, suppose that comes around 10 lakh rupees. समझना, इस figure को लिखना नहीं, you try to understand that the total revenue from the Deccan area is coming around 10 lakh rupees. So how much of that would be given to the Marathas? That is 1/4, meaning 2.5 lakh will go into the coffers of Maratha. Then, so this is what is called as the Chauth. Then, and 7.5 lakh would be there with the Delhi Sultanate. So they are giving 1/4 of the revenue assessment of the Deccan to the Marathas. Then, what is Sardes Mukhi? So Sardes Mukhi, it is an additional levy of 10% of the revenue. So meaning that if 10 lakh is the income of the Deccan, so again 10% comes around 1 lakh. So 1 lakh more would be given to the Marathas, and this is an additional levy. So what is the basis of this one? Then, so what is the basis of this one? Now I'll tell you the purpose. So यहाँ भी थोड़ा सा understanding की जरूरत है, and now, so Chauth. Then, why this Chauth has to be given to the Marathas? Then, why this Chauth has to be given to the Maratha? And reality में हो क्या रहा था? What was happening in that area that Mughal emperors were coerced to give this Chauth to the Marathas? So, suppose that I'm creating one such map. Suppose that here, this is the Maratha area. Then, so I'm writing in a clear words. Suppose this is Maratha area, this circle, and around this circle is the Deccan area. Let me so this is the Deccan area. Then, so now, earlier when the Marathas were not given the Chauth, so they will try to maximize their profit. Obviously, they will try to earn more. And one of the strategy of the Marathas, right from the time of the Shivaji, that raid. Then, so raids were that the adjoining areas, the neighbor areas were often raided. So this is Maratha area, and from here, if they want to increase their revenue, so what they were doing continuously, they were raiding in this area, the Deccan area, जो भी अगल-बगल का इलाका है. Then, so they were continuously doing the raids in this area, and with the raid, they were collecting huge amount of revenue from the Deccan. Then, so now, and Deccan is under the influence of it is the territory under the Mughal emperors then. So obviously that revenue is lost from this area. Then किसी के पास पैसे नहीं होंगे. Suppose that there is a one person in the Deccan area and Marathas have come to that place. They have raided, they have looted all the amount, and then when the Delhi Sultan is asking for from that person to give the revenue, उसके पास कुछ नहीं है. He has nothing to give. So what he will give? So obviously the revenue of the Mughal emperor is hit. So to stop this raid in this area, Deccan area, they said that ki raid mat karo. You guys don't do the raid in this area, and then we will give you 1/4 of the revenue assessment. I hope you understood. So this is what is the chauth. This is what was the behind the chauth. Then Sardes Mukhi. So Sardes Mukhi, again, it's not complicated, but you will have to listen to it. Then बहुत बार क्या होता है कि हम online में we are watching and then our mind is wandering here and there, so we are not able to listen. So इसको सुन लो, उसके बाद इन दिमाग को कहीं भी दौड़ाना. So now Sardes Mukhi, so Maratha said that this is okay, ठीक है, that you have given us chauth, then you have given us chauth, then, and that is 1/4 of the assessment. But right from the time of the Shivaji, this area was under our influence. Then, so this area is under our influence. Then, and what you have done that over the period that Aurangzeb did the treachery, then, and he took this area from us. Then Aurangzeb did treachery after the death of the Shivaji, that he killed Sambhaji, he captured Sahu, and he also reestablished his, not reestablished, he established his influence in the Deccan area. So they said that this area was already under our influence. This was our Sardes Mukh. Then, so Sardes Mukh is a Marathi word, and meaning of this that we were the overlords of the Deccan area. So they said that before, in the earlier times, at the time of the Shivaji, we were the overlords of the Deccan area. So we will not be satisfied by the chauth 1/4. You will have to give us overlordship tax also. So Sardes Mukhi is what? It is overlordship tax, meaning that they were the one who had influence in this area, who were the overlords of this area, but due to the treachery of the Aurangzeb, that was snatched with them. So now they want 10% additional overlordship tax, which was called as the Sardes Mukhi. I hope you understood. ठीक है? तो चौथ में what you have written, please write. It was 1/4 of the revenue assessment paid as a fee for non-raid in Deccan area. For non-raid in Deccan area. For non-raid in Deccan area. And then you write Sardes Mukhi. So you write about the Sardes Mukhi. What is Sardes Mukhi? It was an additional levy of 10% on revenue. It was an additional levy of 10% on revenue, which Marathas claimed on being the overlords, or Sardes Mukh of Deccan area. Overlord or Sardes Mukh of Deccan area. Again, I'm asking this thing to you that if you guys have understood, so please say, give your assist to me then. And if anybody wants it to repeat it once again, so I will repeat just for one time. Okay? So I hope that you must have understood. क्योंकि डायग्राम बना के मैंने मेहनत की है, ठीक है, तो कुछ तो समझ में आना चाहिए. So this is what happened. Moreover, so since these rights were given to the Maratha, so Maratha in return they promised that whatever rights that has been granted to the Maratha, so they promised to the Mughal emperor, that Shahu is going to maintain a contingent of the 15,000 Maratha soldiers for the service and protection of the emperor. So for the service and protection of the emperor. So I have got so many yeses. Okay? Thank you. So we will go into the finals, semi-finals. So you write, next point you write, in return, Marathas promised to maintain, in return, Marathas promised to maintain a contingent of 15,000 Maratha soldiers, for the service and protection of Mughal emperor. For the service and protection of Mughal emperor. Then, but Jahandar Shah ke din lad gaye the. I am using too much of Hindi. Don't feel bad about that. Okay? I will try to, whatever I'm saying that in my own mother tongue. So then I will try to translate also. But sometimes it becomes too heavy for people from the South India. So listen. So what I said that Jahandar Shah ke din lad gaye the, meaning that his time was over and soon he was eliminated from the scenario. So within 1 year he was eliminated, and then the new person who came to power, he was Farrukh Siyar. So Farrukh Siyar came to power. Now, once I said to you that these all people who are coming to the throne of the Mughal, they are coming with the support of the powerful nobles of that time. So this point of time, there was a one group of the noble, in fact that these are the Indian origin nobles then, and these were two brothers. These brothers were popularly known as the Sayyid brothers then. So Sayyid brothers, so one was the elder one was the, I think that Abdullah Khan, and then there was a Hassan Ali then. So these two brothers, they were too powerful at this point of time that with their support, the next person, Farrukh Siyar, came to power then. So please mention the next emperor's name. Farrukh Siyar. Then, so who has asked? Okay, Nishant has asked about that. Repeating it once again. Chalo, but late ho gaya. I'm seeing it late. Nishant, I will try to explain it once again in the last of the class, since we have moved on a little bit. Yeah, फिर से सुन लो, what is Sardesh Mukhi? So what he has asked Sardesh Mukhi, see that I'm saying that suppose that this is 2021. So I said that by 2010, this area of Karol Bagh, this was under my influence, and I'm living in the nearby area of the Shadipur then, or Patel Nagar. So I'm in Patel Nagar is my area, and then I'm saying that before 2010 I had an influence on the Karol Bagh area, but soon after the arrival of somebody else's, Karol Bagh was snatched from me. Then originally it was my area and it was snatched from me, and now I have been relegated only to the Patel Nagar. So now what I'm claiming that पहले ये इलाका मेरे पास था. Earlier this particular area was under my influence. So please give us and we were the overlords of the Karol Bagh. So meaning that you give us some overlordship tax. Basically the Sardesh Mukh is a word of the overlord. Then it is also a title that in the Maharashtra. For example, that in Maharashtra if you go and if you just notice the names of the people, then so you will come across that many of the names they trace there, or caste which is used as a caste, many of these castes they trace back to the medieval period. For example, one of the very important title and very popular title in the Maharashtra, Inamdar. So Inamdar, and Inamdar is something, it's not a caste, but actually some jagir, some piece of land was given to the people as a inam, as a prize. So then it became their caste, inamdar, jinko Mughal se inam mila tha. The people who got prizes from the Mughals, that is inamdar. Then same way, there are Deshmukh. Then, so for example, that you have this Bollywood star, what is his name? Vilas Rao Deshmukh's son, Ritesh Deshmukh. So they are what? They were the Sir Deshmukh, in fact. So Deshmukh is coming from the Sir Deshmukh, means that they were the overlord of some area. Then, so किसी area के मुखिया थे, ठीक है? That you got that. So किसी area के मुखिया थे, that is overlord. If you, Nishant, if you are from Hindi belt area, so you must be understanding what is mukhiya. So overlord, but later on what happened, that they were kind of relegated to some other position. They were no more the mukhiya. So after some point of time, they are claiming that कि हम पहले इस इलाके के, we were first, the first overlords of this area, हम पहले इस इलाके के मुखिया थे, so अब हमें कुछ इसका भी tax दो. So at this point of time, please give us the tax related to our overlordship in the previous time also. So this is what was the meaning of the Sir Deshmukh. Okay? So now, let's move to the, what we were writing. It was 10% was on 100%. In fact, what Vaibhavi has given, said, it's like cess on, yes, you can, Subham, you can say that it is a cess, or moreover, 10% was on complete revenue assessment. It's not on the remaining 75%. It was complete. So overall, if you see, Marathas, agar jo 10 lakh rupees is the collection of the Deccan revenue. So then how much is going into the Maratha coffer? 3.5 lakh. Overall, 35%. Then वैसा नहीं है जो आजकल when you go to the market and then you see that some stores are offering that 20 plus 20 plus 10 offer. So it's not like that 20 plus 20 plus 10. I hope you know these all concept that what is 20 plus 20 plus 10. So 20 on 100% then, and this 20 on remaining 80%, and this 10 is on remaining percent. So that's not the system in this Chauth and Sir Deshmukhi. It is overall 35%, not this system of the discount that you see in the modern age. Then, so have you written anything? Yes, Farrukh Siyar. So you write the regime of the Farrukh Siyar. He was from the 1713 to 1719. And please mention that he came to power with the support of Sayyid brothers. With the support of Sayyid brothers. And please write their names. So, Sayyid brothers, Abdullah Khan, and Hasan Ali Khan, and Hasan Ali. So Abdullah Khan and Hasan Ali. So now, since they have supported the claim of the Farrukh Siyar, so as a token of the gratitude, they must be granted some lavish positions. So Abdullah Khan was appointed the Wazir of the kingdom. This is the most important position. Pradhan Mantri, that is Wazir. Prime Minister, that is Wazir. Then, so he was appointed the Wazir of the kingdom, and the second important post, obviously, he would be the head of the military, and that post is known as the Mir Baksi. So Hasan Ali was appointed as a Mir Baksi, and then Abdullah Khan was appointed as the Wazir. So please mention that as a token of gratitude, Abdullah was appointed as Wazir. Abdullah was appointed as Wazir, and Hasan Ali as Mir Baksi. Mir Bakshi. Now listen. So, Jahandar Shah was a degenerate, fully involved in the pleasure. What about the Farooq Siyar? He was also an incapable person. And one of the weakness of the Farooq Siyar, that he was very weak on his ears. So he was very weak on his ears, meaning that he was very prone to the flatterers. So he was very prone to the flatterers, and he was always on the slippery slope. Then I'm using this phrase in a different manner. So he was always not on a slippery slope, but I'll say that he was always on a buttery slope. That whenever anybody tries to butter him, he was all ready to slide on that butter. So he was very prone to the flatterers, and whenever these flatterers were saying something to him, he tended to believe all the time. So taking the advantage of this such kind of behavior, Sayyid brothers took full control of the administration. So Zulfikar Khan, he took full control because Jahandar was degenerate, fully involved in pleasure, and here Farooq Siyar was incapable and very prone to the flatterers. So Sayyid brothers took full control. So please mention that Farooq Siyar was incapable. Farooq Siyar was incapable and was influenced by flatterers. Not necessarily, Pavan, that anyone who is continuing, who is going to become the next emperor would be the son of the previous person. They all were the sons of the Bahadur Shah. Okay? Farooq Siyar and Jahandar Shah. So they all were the sons, somehow relation with the Bahadur Shah, and they could be the brothers. So it's not necessarily that they would be the sons. मार के आया था, ठीक है, अपने भाई को. So he could be that brother from the other mother. So that you can say that brother from the other mother, because you know that in the Mughals that this was the trend. Not just the Mughals, but in medieval time it was the trend that there would be one king with more than 50 wives, more than 30 wives. In fact, the most moderate personality, I have told it in the batches where ancient and medieval is complete, the person who was kind of, you can say that, who took the optimum number of the wives or minimum number of the wife, Akbar. And even that Akbar had, if you count going by the details of the Mughal house, Mughal harem, so he had 34 wives. So it was very common that one king and so many wives. So many wives, and apart from the wives, then there are also some other people that. So move on from this place to the other one. So what I was saying that these two brothers, so he was prone to the flattery, then he was incapable. So these two brothers took full advantage of this situation, and they are holding everything of the administration in their hand. So please write after full stop. Taking advantage of this, Sayyid brothers took full control of administration. Sayyid brothers took full control of administration. See that Subham, what Subham has written, you guys would be right. You will be, you will come to know about that in the ancient. Asoka killed 99 of his brothers. He spared just one, Mogaliputta Tesa. So the younger brother he spared, but it is as per the stories that is there that Asoka killed 99 of his brothers. So it's not something which is new, which is happening at the medieval India. But in fact, when you talk about the kings and kingships, so there is no brother. When it comes to the kingship, so if a brother is an arch rival, so he has to be eliminated. And all the kings all over the world, they eliminated their own brother's father. So that's not something which is amazing, which is shocking as per the context of that time. So now listen. So these Sayyid brothers I was talking about, that they were of the Hindustani origin. So obviously they have a soft corner for the people from the India, Indian origin people. So they were Indian origin, so they had soft corner for the Indian origin people. So they started to associate, they adopted the policy of religious tolerance, and they started to associate many Hindu chiefs and nobles in the governance. Then so they started to associate many Hindu chiefs and nobles in the governance, and they were the one who abolished the pilgrimage tax. So as I was saying at the time of the jizya, that pilgrimage was a separate tax. So they abolished the pilgrimage tax. But since they are ameliorative or soft towards the Hindus, it does not mean that they went soft against the Sikh leader. So they were not soft towards the Sikh leader. In fact, the Sikh leader who revolted against the later Mughal emperors, Banda Bahadur, he was captured by them from Gurdaspur, and in 1716 Banda Bahadur was brought to Delhi, where he was executed by the Mughal emperor. So please mention that they adopted the policy of religious tolerance. They adopted the policy of religious tolerance and associated many Hindu chiefs and nobles in the governance. Many Hindu chiefs and nobles in the governance. Full stop. They abolished pilgrimage tax. They abolished pilgrimage tax. Very good, Vaibhav. You have quoted the phrase of the Balban. So, further you write, during their tenure, Sikh leader Banda Bahadur, was taken prisoner at Gurdaspur, and was executed at Delhi in 1916. So this is what is about that what happened at this point of time as far as the initiatives of the Farrukhsiyar is complete. Initiatives of the Farrukhsiyar is concerned. One more very important thing at the time of the Farrukhsiyar that we need to know, and it is in relation with the English East India Company. So it was the Farrukhsiyar who gave a farman to the English East India Company, which is popularly known as the Royal Farman of Farrukhsiyar to English East India Company in 1717. And this particular farman of the Farrukhsiyar, it gave further privileged position to the Britishers in India. So you write a heading which is Royal Farman of 1717 to East India Company. This is English East India Company. So English East India Company. So Royal Farman of 1717 to English East India Company. So now, why this Royal Farman was given to the English East India Company? There is a reason behind that. Then listen. This emperor, Mughal emperor Farrukhsiyar, it is said that he was suffering from some kind of disease then, and it's a kind of a secret disease which was not openly discussed in the Mughal court, or not openly discussed, किसी को बहुत पता नहीं था. So people were not knowing, but it was very painful for the Farrukhsiyar, and all the time he was in pain. So he learned that their Britishers have made some kind of advancement in the medicine sector, and there was a physician in the English East India Company who was stationed in India. His name was William Hamilton. So William Hamilton, so he was called that when Farrukhsiyar learned that he is a very able person, very able physician, so he was called to the Mughal court, and William Hamilton performed a surgery on the Farrukhsiyar, and Farrukhsiyar was cured from that disease. Then, so he was cured from that disease. So he was so happy with this, that he was so happy with this particular gesture of the English East India Company and William Hamilton, that he said that as a token of gratitude, I will give you some kind of privileges. And that privileges are listed in this Royal Farman of the 1717. Then, so you can mention as an introduction that why it was given. So please write, one British physician, what I have written, 1770, okay. So one British physician, William Hamilton, William Hamilton cured Farrukhsiyar, who was suffering from a disease, full stop. As a token of gratitude, he gave Royal Farman to English East India Company. So now, just listen that what were the things in this Royal Farman. So the very first thing, that English East India Company, it was permitted to carry on trade free of customs duty at 3 places, Bengal, Bombay and Madras. Then, so English East India Company was given permission, or it was permitted to carry on their trade free of customs duty in Bengal, Bombay and Madras. Then, so कोई भी custom duty नहीं देना है at these 3 places. Then the second one, it also gave the permission to English East India Company that in Calcutta, they can fortify the Calcutta area, and moreover, they can mint their own coins. Then, meaning with their own names, with the English names, they can mint their coin. Then, so they can mint their coin, but there is a catch over here. ये second provision तो था, पर ये लागू नहीं हुआ. The second provision which was there, or the second farman which I'm mentioning, though it was there in the Royal Farman, but it was not implemented. We will see the reasons in the episode of the Bengal. Then, so ये कहानी Bengal में complete होगी. But here you'll be just writing that one farman. Then the last was that company servants, they were allowed to do the private trade. Meaning that, suppose that if I am an employee of the Vision IAS, so I'm working as an employee of the Vision IAS then, but I have a private, that if I want to teach at somebody, some else places also, so that would be my private trade or private service then, apart from the Vision IAS. So the company servants were, apart from the company's service, they were allowed to do the private trade, but when they are operating as a private trade individual, so they will have to pay the taxes just like the Indian merchant. So if I am operating as an employee of the Vision IAS, I will not be paying any tax. But if I'm operating as a private individual outside Vision IAS, so then I will have to pay the taxes. That is the meaning of this third provision. So please write. One by one you write. English East India Company, or EIC, you can write the short terms. So EIC was permitted to carry on trade in to carry on trade was permitted to carry on trade free of customs duty to carry on trade free of customs duty in Bengal, Bombay and Madras. In Bengal, Bombay and Madras. In Bengal, Bombay and Madras. Then, full stop. Second one, the company was also permitted to mint its own coin. The company was also permitted to mint its own coin and fortify Calcutta. And fortify Calcutta. And fortify Calcutta. Then, third Farman, the company servants were allowed to do private trade. The company servants were allowed to do private trade, but needed to pay same tax as Indian merchants. Then, so this is what is about the Royal Farman of 1717. So, give me 5-minute time. You can take 5-minute break, not more than that. So then after we'll continue with the same. So it's a 5-minute break, not more than that. So listen, that this Royal Farman of 1717, that's what we have seen at this point of time. So it was a kind of a big feather in the hat of the Britishers then. So they have got some privileges in India, and as compared to the other companies, it's a great privilege to have. So this Farrukhsiyar, we have said that he was incapable and very prone to the flatterers. Later on, what happened that he started to behave smartly. And not under the guise of himself, but also, in fact, he was flattered by many other people, and then he started to perceive the Sayyid brothers as a threat. So when he started to perceive Sayyid brothers as a threat, he started to conspire against them. So he started to conspire against them, and though he started to conspire against them, he was not good at that. And Sayyid brothers were quite good at that, in conspiracies. So they came to know that this is what is the planning of the Farrukhsiyar. So what they did, that what Farrukhsiyar was thinking to do with the Sayyid brothers, they did same to the Farrukhsiyar. So they took the help of the Maratha Peshwa, Balaji Vishwanath, and what they did, that they dethroned the emperor, blinded him and killed him. So they did not kill him directly. First they dethroned him, they blinded him, and then they brutally killed him. So they brutally killed him. You must be asking why there is a need of taking the support of the Maratha Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath. Yes, it is there. Because if you see that right at the time of the Jahandar Shah, Maratha have promised that they will be maintaining a contingent of the 15,000 soldiers for the protection of the Mughal emperor. So they are there. So they needed the support of the Maratha Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath for doing this and they did this. So it was a murder which happened in front of everybody. And actually after this, everybody in the court was terrorized with the Sayyid brothers. So please write that when Farrukhsiyar was conspiring to get rid of Sayyid brothers, they proved to be very clever. They proved to be very clever for him. And with the help of Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath, with the help of Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath, they dethroned emperor. With the help of Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath, they dethroned emperor, blinded him and killed him. Blinded him and killed him. Blinded him and killed him. So after this, the person who came to power, then he was Muhammad Shah. So interesting personality, Muhammad Shah. Then, so please mention. He is going to stay for a long time. So Muhammad Shah is going to stay for a long time, 1719 to 1748. Then, so in fact, I have written Muhammad, but overall that his spelling would be, it would be right to write the correct spelling, because many a times Muhammad and Muhammad. So how he is written, his spelling is written, you can write this name, Muhammad. Muhammad Shah. So now listen, that Muhammad Shah came to power then, and when he came to power, so obviously that at this point of time he had the support of the Sayyid brothers. They have already dethroned and killed the emperor who was a bit ameliorative towards them in the beginning, but later he wanted to get rid of them. So he came to power. At this point of time, what has happened, that the cold-blooded, that murder of the Farooq Siyar, so everybody is frightened. And now in the noble groups there was a discussion, listen, that in the noble group there was a discussion that if Sayyid brothers would be there in the scenario, it would be difficult for us to improve upon our position. Moreover, Muhammad Shah was also of the view that until that, before Sayyid brothers became too powerful to be defeated, let remove them from the position then and eliminate them. So he was also of the view that Sayyid brothers must be removed from the scenario. So at this point of time, he has come to power, and then he started to take the help of the many other nobles, and powerful noble, another powerful noble of that time, his name was Asaf Jah. So under the headship of the Asaf Jah, Nizam al-Mulk Asaf Jah, this powerful group of the nobles, they were finally very successful against the Sayyid brothers. One by one, they eliminated the Sayyid brothers, first the Abdullah and then Hassan Ali. So in different events, both of the brothers were eliminated, and everybody took a sigh of relief, because Sayyid brothers have resorted to reign of terror. So please mention that a powerful group of nobles, after his name, so you write, a powerful group of nobles. See, that Pallavi has asked one question, that why they didn't came to power. This is what I am maintaining from the beginning, but you guys know that legitimacy. Then even if they come to power, nobody will accept them as the emperor. Then they are not meant for this. They are not the Mughal blood. Then, so the population that who has been under the Mughal rule, who has been under the Mughal blood rule, so they will accept a Mughal blood as their emperor, even for the symbolic level, even for the nominal level. So these nobles, even if they are trying to, they have all the things in their hand. You have asked, Pallavi, you have asked a good question, in fact. Then, so even if they are trying to all the things in their hand, why not all of them? Even Zulfikar would have been the next Mughal, next emperor, but he will not be called as the Mughal emperor. Then, and even that Zulfikar ke baad Sayyid brothers would have been the emperor because all the power was there in their hand. Then, but they cannot become the emperor. That is what is the concept of the legitimacy, and that is what is all about, that the leadership of the Mughals that has been going on in India and has been accepted by the Indian population, the Indian subjects, that they would be their emperor. It is just like that we are living in a modern age, and I'll bring that normal corollary, that contemporary corollary, that we are living in a modern age and there is a party which is the that very disgusting for our country, that the opposition party, said to be the opposition party, Congress. Then they are not moving beyond that legitimacy of the Gandhi family. If they move beyond the legitimacy of the Gandhi family, it would be a good opposition. Then it would be a robust opposition, and God knows that next time they can change the entire scenario in the country. Then, so I hope you're understanding. So it's not everybody knows their limitation. And most important thing is that the subjects accepting the legitimacy of that person, and Indian subjects will never accept anybody other than the Mughal blood to be their emperor, even for the symbolic level, even for the nominal level. So that is one such hindrance of them becoming the emperors. I hope you're understanding. Then, so please write, a powerful group of nobles headed by a powerful group of nobles headed by Nizam ul Mulk. You write this name, Nizam ul Mulk Asaf Jah. So it's a big name. A powerful group of nobles headed by Nizam ul Mulk Asaf Jah were wary, डरे हुए थे और concerned थे, were wary of the growing power of the Sayyid brothers. Wary of the growing power of the Sayyid brothers. Then further you mention, Emperor also wanted, after full stop, Emperor also wanted to free himself from, Emperor also wanted to free himself from the control of, Sayyid brothers. To free himself from the control of Sayyid brothers, and as such, with the help of Sayyid brothers, with the help of Asaf Jah, this name, and as such, with the help of Asaf Jah, he succeeded in killing the Sayyid brothers by 1720. He succeeded in killing Sayyid brothers by 1720. What you have written, Sri Charan, that's same what happened. That Muhammad Shah was Mughal blood only. He was appointed and he was under the control of the Sayyid brothers. That's why he wanted to get rid of the Sayyid brothers then. And he did so very beautifully. So now, listen, after the death of the Sayyid brothers and the groups which I mentioned, then inside the Mughal house or Mughal court, there are many groups of the noble. So I said to you that there was a group of noble from Turkish origin, Persian origin, Afghan origin, Indian origin. And all of them, that there was a groupism in the Mughal court. All of them are favoring their group. But this was the very first time that all the groups were united. Then, so पहली बार ऐसा हो रहा था that all the groups were united. And why they were united? Because they did not wanted Sayyid brothers to continue and to assume more power. And moreover, they did not wanted reign of terror. Then, and they were also unhappy with this thing, the way they murdered the Mughal emperor. Then, so the way they murdered the Mughal emperor, that was also they didn't wanted. Then that earlier, the kings of the kings were murdering them, eliminating them. This is for the first time that a noble group or kind of the wazir group is murdering the emperor. So that was something which was not liked by the nobles themselves. That ki raja ko kaise noble maar dega. So this was not liked by them, and they wanted, all of them wanted that iski to saza honi chahiye. So they wanted to eliminate Sayyid brothers. They were eliminated. Now, so there seems to be a chance. There seems to be a chance that after the death of the Sayyid brothers, it seems to be a chance to save the Mughal Empire. The decline which has started after 1707, the power which has waned after the 1707, this particular time, 1720, seemed to be a chance to save the Mughal Empire. Then, but you know, Muhammad Shah was not the man of the moment. Then, so Muhammad Shah was not the man of the moment, and in fact, that he was weak-minded, he was frivolous, and all the time Muhammad Shah was indulged into the pleasure. Then, so he was all the time, he was indulged into the pleasure. It is said about him that he was very fond of two things, wine and women. So all the time he was indulged in these two things, wine and women. It is said about him that there was never an occasion that his glass of the wine was empty or even the half. It was always full. So because of this nature of the Muhammad Shah, he came to be known in the Indian history as the Muhammad Shah Rangila. So he came to be known as the Muhammad Shah Rangila. So please write. I will further explain about this one. So it was a chance. You can change paragraph and then you write. It was a chance to save the Mughal Empire. It was a chance to save the Mughal Empire, comma, but Muhammad Shah was not the man of the moment. Was not the man of moment. Full stop. He was weak-minded. He was weak-minded and frivolous. He was weak-minded and frivolous. He was weak-minded and frivolous. Then you write, he is often referred in the history as Rangila. He is often referred in the history as Rangila because he was fond of wine and women. He was fond of wine and women. So now, what I said to you that this was the moment. This was the time when Mughal Empire could have been saved. And why we made this statement, because nobles are united. सब एक साथ काम करने के लिए तैयार हैं. They, under the leadership of the Asaf Jah, they want to operate. Then, so this was the first time in the later Mughal period. But Muhammad Shah himself was not the man of the moment, so it was not happening. Moreover, during his tenure, the irreversible decline of the Mughal Empire started. So I'm using a very important word, irreversible decline, meaning that after the Muhammad Shah, even if a very able person comes to power, he cannot reverse the process. Then, so already the damage, most of the damage has been done at the time of the Muhammad Shah Rangila. So irreversible decline of the Mughal Empire started and initiated, and Mughal Empire started to break up from the time of the Muhammad Shah Rangila. In fact, those regional kingdoms that we will be discussing, some of them would be the part of the Mughal area only, and they will become the separate regional kingdoms like Bengal, Hyderabad, Carnatic. They were the part of the Mughal territory, and now they will become powerful regional kingdoms. Then, so please mention that during his tenure, an irreversible, during his tenure, an irreversible decline of Mughal Empire, an irreversible decline of Mughal Empire initiated, and it started to break up. Now, I will tell you something about this Muhammad Shah Rangila, bringing something other from the medieval part of the history. So, whenever a person of that cadre, a person who is at the topmost echelon, who is the king, then, and he is indulged into the physical pleasure, who is indulged into wine and women, so then the casualty is the administration. So I will tell you one instance from the history. There is a very famous Hindi poet, his name was Bihari. Then, so Bihari, and it is said that at one point of time, the king under whose, in whose tenure he was a poet, it is said that Savai Raja Jai Singh. So in the tenure of the Jai Singh, Bihari was the very famous Hindi poet. So there was a time, it is said about that Raja Jai Singh, there was a time when he got married, and after the marriage, the wife was too beautiful, and then those were the years when Raja Jai Singh was not looking at the administration, and most of his time was in the bedroom. Then, so most of the time was in the physical pleasure and these all kind of thing. So looking at the situation which was prevailing in the area, Bihari, that the famous Hindi poet, the famous Hindi writer, he wrote a word. Then, so he wrote one phrase which I would be quoting to you. Then, so what he said that, listen to this part and I'll explain, I will translate that in English also. So he wrote in Hindi, Nahi parag nahi madhur madhu. Listen, Nahi parag nahi madhur madhu, nahi vikas hi kaal, ali kali hi te bandhyo, aage kaun hawal. Meaning that nahi parag nahi madhur madhu, nahi vikas hi kaal. Meaning that at this point of time, there is no such sense of happiness. Then, and then madhur madhu, there is no such harmony. Then, so there is no sense of happiness, there is no sense of harmony, there is no vikas at all. Nahi vikas hi kaal. So vikas wala to aajkal bhi chal raha hai कि विकास कहाँ है, and then you guys must be searching. So there was no development also. And then he says that why this is happening in his area. So then he said that Ali Kali hi te bandyo, meaning that once you are hovering around the physical pleasure, so इस देश का भगवान ही मालिक है, आगे कौन हवाल. So meaning that God is the savior of this country, God is the savior of this area. Then, so when the ruler himself is involved in the physical pleasure, so then only God can save this country. So when he wrote this thing, so when he wrote this thing, and when the Raja heard about this, he became serious and he started to give his attention back to the administration. So this is a good thing, and this is a good way of bringing a person from another phase of life to more important phase of life. Then, but that was not in the case of the Muhammad Shah Rangila. उसको कुछ भी लिख के दे दो, उसको कोई मतलब ही नहीं था. Then, so he was always under the influence of the wine. And as I said to you that there was always a Kaniz who was running behind the Muhammad Shah Rangila just to fill his glass. Then, that his glass never went empty, even half. Then, so that's why this decline started. And as I said to you that what you have written, that the Mughal Empire started to break up. So these powerful nobles, now listen, these powerful nobles, they started to carve out semi-independent states for themselves. So at the time of the Muhammad Shah Rangila, these powerful nobles, they started to carve out semi-independent, we are not saying full independent, but semi-independent states for themselves. Then, so there was one such state which came to picture little earlier than the Muhammad Shah Rangila tenure. That was the Bengal under Murshid Quli Khan. But after that, Awadh came to picture at the time of the Muhammad Shah, and Hyderabad came to picture, and Carnatic was also the part of the Hyderabad in the beginning. Then, so please mention that after full stop, powerful nobles began to carve out semi-independent states. Now we know that this point of time, Subham, the Vikas is not there because Vikas has gone to China then, and it is all China created Vikas. They created Corona for all over the world and then Vikas for themselves. So they have taken Vikas from India to China, and then let's see that how well their Vikas will go. If it will see that 2-3 more years, but definitely their Vikas will come to a halt, and world will have to ask the reparations from the China. Then if they are not asking, so we deserve to be covered. Then I can say this on sitting on this chair then. So, but it is our leadership and the world leadership to question China and to ask them then. So it is onus is on the world leadership, the leaders of all the countries. Don't get swayed by the benefits that you get from the China, that trade you have with the China. Everybody will have to assert, and then everybody will have to fight for their pride, that what China has done to the world, then how they have ruined everything in the world, and we are going through that agony and pain of losing our loved ones. I have told you about mine. And I have told you know about that what Vision has also lost then. So, and many families have lost. So who is to be blamed? That is China. So we know that it's not the reason in India that Vikas has gone to China, because China has created a Frankenstein monster for all over the world. But I'm just waiting that if it is a Frankenstein monster, so it must return back to its birthplace. I hope it returns back to the birthplace, though it may seem saddest to you. But yes, if you have gone through that agony and that pain, you will feel the same. So please write that powerful nobles began to carve out semi-independent states. Semi-independent states. So the very first that I said to you that Bengal came little earlier than the Muhammad Shah, in fact at the time of the Farrukhsiyar only. And the reason that why Bengal became a semi-independent in 1770, reason was the Royal Farman. If you remember, chalo connect karte hain. History is also about the connecting the things that you have studied. So 1717, what was the second provision that you have written? The Royal Farman of 1717 said that Britishers can further fortify Calcutta then, and they can mint their own coins in the Bengal then, which was not liked by the then governor of the Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan, and he took on the face then, and he said that jo karna hai kar lo, theek hai, I will not let them mint their coins over here, and I will not let them further fortify Calcutta. Then, so that's how he challenged Mughal. He was a noble, but he challenged this decision of the Mughal emperor, and then he went on to create a first semi-independent state, that was Bengal in 1717. So that was the reason that Bengal came to picture. But Muhammad Shah was the reason, because of him, Awadh came to in picture and Hyderabad came to picture. So please write that very first one. Murshid Quli Khan, please mention. Murshid Quli Khan founded Bengal in 1717. Then Sadat Khan founded Awadh. Sadat Khan founded Awadh in 1722, and Nizam और Asaf Jah, अभी एक ही लिखो, Asaf Jah founded Hyderabad in 1724. We will be explaining Asis, don't be worried about that. अभी ये later Mughal खत्म होने के बाद, then we will be explaining this, that what is this semi-independent. Don't be concerned about that. In fact, there are much more meanings attached to the semi-independent. Then, so अभी के लिए बस लिख लो, ठीक है? So this is what you have written, Hyderabad in 1724. Then, now listen. So after this, that there are a few more things which has happened at the time of the Muhammad Shah Rangila. So then the next big thing which happened in the Mughal area, as I have said, that decline started. So decline कैसे start होगा? Already the breakup has happened and people would be attacking on Delhi. So in Delhi, in and around the area of Delhi. So the first big attack was from the Maratha Peshwa Bajirao first in 1737. So Bajirao first raided Delhi in 1737, and after this Mughal emperor was quite terrorized. So Mughal emperor was quite terrorized by the raid of the Peshwa Bajirao first in 1737. Then in 1739, the ruler of the Persia, Nadir Shah, he invaded India. So Nadir Shah invaded India, and moreover, there was this fight between the Mughal army and then the Nadir Shah. The battle is the so-called Battle of Karnal of 1739. So in this Battle of Karnal, Mughal army was thoroughly defeated. But what happened in this battle? Something very different happened. You know that on one side, Nadir Shah's army was very strong, and Mughal army was not that strong. In fact, very weak. It was easily defeated. But even if they are weak, they must be able to kill some of the men of the Nadir Shah. So the Mughal army killed some of the handful of the people from the Nadir Shah army. And Nadir Shah was so angry with this that he decided that he will take the revenge of this much killing of his handful of soldiers. And then he did a terrible massacre on the streets of Delhi. He entered inside the markets. See, that normal rule, the battle must be fought on the battleground. Then it must not be fought in the streets and then the habitational areas. But what he did, Nadir Shah, that he entered into the streets of Delhi, did a terrible massacre, looted the houses of the people, and even looted all the valuables of the Mughal emperor. So इतनी बेइज्जती किसी भी हिंदुस्तान के बादशाह की नहीं हुई है. सो बादशाहत को जमीन पे गिरा दिया मोहम्मद शाह रंगीला ने, सिर्फ अपने रंगीलेपन में. This is what I am saying in Hindi, but I hope you are understanding. That just he was indulged all the time. He was thinking there was only one thing in his mind, that he never paid attention to building an army. And the outcome was that so many people got massacred by this person without any fault of theirs. Then their valuables were looted. And not only their valuables were looted, but also the valuables of the Mughal glory, the valuables of the Mughal heritage, they were looted by the Nadir Shah, which included the very famous peacock throne of the Shah Jahan, and also the coveted, the most precious thing of the Mughals, the Kohinoor diamond. So the Kohinoor diamond was looted by Nadir Shah, and I hope you know that where is this Kohinoor diamond right now. So the history of this Kohinoor diamond is all about the loot. It goes from one lutera to another lutera. I hope you know. So for the very first time, that the first lutera was Alauddin Khilji. Originally, this Kohinoor diamond was the Kakatiya dynasty. Sun lo, kahani bhi sun lo. Somebody said that koi skip nahi karna. So originally this belonged to the Kakatiya dynasty, and the ruler of the Kakatiya dynasty in the Andhra, that Telangana I'll say. So ruler of this Kakatiya dynasty, Pratap Rudra, he gave it to the Alauddin Khilji to save his area from the raid of the Alauddin Khilji. So this Kohinoor diamond remained in the Delhi Sultanate, and then as a kind of a heritage, or as a kind of that one such precious wealth, valuable, it passed on from one generation, one kingship to another. So Khilji to Tughlaq, Tughlaq to Lodhi, and from Lodhi to Mughals. Then so it was there with the Mughals. Then now finally Mughals lost it to the another lutera, Nadir Shah, and you know the finally Nadir Shah and the Persia lost it to the another Lutera, that is the Britishers, the biggest Luteras of our time. Then, so Britishers. So right now, this Kohinoor diamond it is in the British Museum at London. Then it is kind of preserved over there. So they are such a shameless bunch of the people that even after so many years passed, and then even after declaring themselves to be one of the gentlemen of the world and then so sophisticated people of the world, they are not able to return this Kohinoor diamond. They must return. And if you want to know a little bit more, you must see that there is one debate where Shashi Tharoor is there, and he is asking the British authorities, British government, to return this valuable to India. Why it is adorning the Museum of London, it must adorn the National Museum of the Government of India. So please write that in 1737, Bajirao first raided Delhi. In 1737, Bajirao first raided Delhi. Then further you mention and terrorized Mughal emperor. Then further you mention in 1739, 1739, Nadir Shah of Persia Nadir Shah of Persia invaded Mughal India and defeated them in Battle of Karnal. Full stop. Then you mention he captured the area lying west of River Indus, including Kabul. Meaning that till this point of time, Kabul was under the control of the Mughal emperors, but no more. So he captured the area lying west of River Indus, including Kabul. Full stop. He also ordered a terrible massacre. In the imperial city of Delhi. He also ordered a terrible massacre in the imperial city of Delhi to avenge killing of handful of his soldiers. To avenge killing of handful of his soldiers. Please write fast because the time is coming closer. So there is a fear of 8 o'clock. So you please write. Then you write, he also looted the peacock throne, the famous peacock throne of Shah Jahan. He also looted the famous peacock throne of Shah Jahan and Kohinoor diamond. Then, so this is all about the Muhammad Shah Rangila. He died in 1748. So that episode after 1748 we will continue tomorrow. Then, so after 1748, what happened? We'll continue tomorrow. And that's also the time when Ahmad Shah Abdali is going to invade India 7 times, Mughal India. So the first invasion of Ahmad Shah Abdali, who was the a successor of the Nadir Shah. The first invasion is happening at the time of the Muhammad Shah when he is alive. And then rest of his invasions, there were total 7. So 6 would be at the time of the other Mughal emperors. So we'll see that tomorrow. So here I'm stopping the class, and tomorrow we'll be completing this topic, and then we will also be completing the decline of the Mughals topic. And if after that time remains, so then we will be starting about the Carnatic Wars, that is Anglo-French rivalry. Chalo, thank you for today. Meet you tomorrow.